Get me that Bible. In the name of God, the creator of the entire universe, I have never taken a bribe, and I will never take a bribe.
If you look at the judiciary, which is actually the third arm of the government, there is always an interesting statement that they always say about the judges of the courts. They say that a judge is like a filter of the cigarette, which can only be valuable when the cigarette is being smoked. And the moment you finish up smoking the cigarette, you throw the filter away.
At times, some clients want you to lie for them. They just buy you. That's what it means. They buy you to do what they want. As soon as you do that, they have no regard for you. You're so cheap before them, they have very little regard for you. But if you refuse and stand firm, and a time comes later when they want somebody honest to perform some job, they will be the first ones coming to look for you.
A judge who has been known to be easily compromised cannot be actually used to further the systems of the judiciary. In matters dealing with the constitution, you will find that these politicians have always mastered the art of dealing with the judges, dealing with the courts entirely. I think let's just put it that way. They have mastered the art of relying on the filter while the cigarette is being smoked. So they know the extent that they can go with bribing the judges, and also they know the extent that they can go in trying to attach some value to the judges.
I believe everywhere some accusation come in, the judiciary should not come guns blazing to protect itself. They should come in to actually look at what is being said. When we say they are corrupt judges, they are people who are being used. It is not something that is out of ordinary. We have had it before. We have had people even going to court. We have had videos from the likes of Sonko on issues corruption. So these are serious matters.
Now, if you look at what William Ruto used to say during the BBI, campaigns, Ruto was against the aspect of BBI wanted to bring an ombudsman that was watching the courts, or, kind of trying to remove the autonomy of the judiciary from them. In fact, that is one of the reasons why you remember the day at Bomas. You remember the fiasco. You remember what we saw happening.
That is the discussion we need to have. Yes. That is the discussion we need to have. And that discussion is a discussion that involves millions of Kenyans. Millions of Kenyans.
William Ruto stood out as a man who was very much mindful of the judiciary. Perhaps what we are now seeing is an extent that this Ruto as a politician, the president is also a politician. He knows the values that he can actually attach to the current judges, the current system that we have in the third arm of the government. In fact, according to William Ruto, he knows exactly which judge can be easily compromised. He knows the one that cannot be easily compromised. And he knows, even if he was supposed to bring changes, he knows exactly who can go with this interest. And if we are talking of a moment where, he is fighting so hard for him to have his ways, then very soon we will see him trying to make realignments. The only disadvantage of William Ruto's realignments and adjustments of the government is always, favoritism. And we have always attached what we call chronism to every appointment that he makes. So when we hear William Ruto coming out to say that it is time for us to have a different conversation or a new conversation of, how can we make things right in the judiciary? Perhaps this is another strategy that the president is using to stabilize himself and to make his roots go deeper into the judiciary. By the way, whatever he is trying to align right now, they are not just for the current dispensation. In fact, no, they are not just for what we are facing right now. These things are for the future. You talk of instances when William Ruto shall have had complete grip on the judiciary. It takes time, and it needs some adjustments to be made. It needs modifications to be done. And that is the reason why you saw that Nyeri senator saying that they are going to come up with a framework where cases to deal with the policies of the government will not be meeting stumbling blocks, because they're thinking that they bring a different twist to whatever is happening. Although I'm trying to get to the gist of how this, legal minds are trying to tell him that it might not work, because if somebody is contradicting a policy that has been fronted by the executive, it is a public thing. So the public opinion is always needed. So you cannot restrict it. You cannot make it to be under, you cannot make it to be served. So everything that William Ruto is trying to bring on board, every adjustment that they are really looking forward to making, they are not just for this time that we are seeing the battle being heightened. They are for the future. And for William Ruto to stabilize himself fully, they are for the future. And William Ruto is a very wise politician. He knows how to move step by step. He knows how to plant his ways or his motives step by step. Waki pole, okay? Pole pole. Dawa, pole pole. So he had finished up with organizing generally the state parastatals and the public service aspect, and now he's moving to the third arm of the government. Remember, he was through with the legislature. All MPs that are allied to him, they know exactly what they need to do. In fact, they need not to be reminded. If anything comes on board, they know where to follow, the trajectory that they must have. They have it at their fingertips. So he is through with, the legislature. He is through with organizing everything that is in, the state parastatal realm. He is through with making sure that the cabinet is his. All right. He brought people who cannot perform. He brought people who cannot deliver. And it is true. We have always talked of ineptitude that is in Ruto's government. So he is through even with the cabinet. The cabinet, he knows he has aligned. So the only part which was remaining is the judiciary, the third arm of the government, which is a process. You cannot just tackle it overnight. It is a process that takes time. It must be ensured over a given time frame. So everything that is doing, everything that is trying to align, every adjustment is not for what we are seeing currently, but they are futuristic. And you've heard me say that William Ruto is appearing to be a strategic thinker or somebody who is trying to look into the future. So one of his future ambitions is to make sure that the three arms of the government are in harmony with whatever he wants to achieve. It's not going to be very easy for him, but at the end of the day, the way I see him, the way I always know how he takes things, it is a matter of time for us to see the outcome. Let's just give time, and we will know the exact thing at the end.